More developing aviation news this morning out of Nepal. At least 68 people were killed after a passenger plane crashed just moments before it was supposed to land. Both the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder were recovered by search teams. Those black boxes could help determine what led to the country's deadliest plane crash in 30 years. NBC News foreign correspondent Molly Hunter joins us now from London with the latest on this. Molly, good morning to you. So do we know anything at this point about a potential cause, any information about the moments leading up to this tragedy?
Yeah, Joe, good morning to you. So we have seen two videos from kind of seconds before that plane crash. The first video is about a 10-second clip shot by a bystander on a balcony. And I mention this because we've had an aviation expert look at this and kind of analyze it to see what can he actually tell by this plane. It's a twin-engine ATR-71 flying through the air. Clear blue skies, so weather was not a factor. It didn't appear that kind of the mountainous, really rocky terrain was a factor. That has been a historic factor for crashes in this area. The second thing that's very obvious, he says, is that there's no kind of catastrophic event in the seconds before it crashes. So there's no fire, there's not smoke coming off of that plane. What he does notice, and what's very obvious to the naked eye, Joe, in that video, is that the plane literally starts to roll. It banks left and then starts to roll about 90 degrees. Now, the aviation experts we've talked to say what they can get from that is that it might be evidence of an aerodynamic stall. All of that, though, is going to kind of come out in the investigation once they listen to the cockpit voice recorder, once they look at all of the data, Joe.
Molly, right now we know 68 of the 72 people on board were killed in the crash. So what's the latest on those 4 remaining people and recovery efforts there? And have the families been notified yet?
Yeah, Joe, I think you said the word recovery efforts. So last night, the search and rescue efforts at the scene of the crash were stopped at nightfall. They resumed this morning, but really, according to authorities on the scene, there's no evidence of any survivors. So 68 bodies have been pulled from the scene. 72 people total were on board. So it is assumed at this point that those 4 additional people will be confirmed dead, but there's absolutely no evidence that anyone was able to survive this crash, Joe.
So, Molly, I mean, we know these investigations take time. What happens next? What is it investigators are looking for in the coming days and the coming weeks?
Yeah, so this could definitely take months to kind of get to the bottom. Like I said, according to kind of aviation experts, a lot of the early factors can be ruled out. So it was not bad weather. It wasn't necessarily a tricky runway. One of the things that's talked about is this airport, Pokhara International Airport, recently changed locations, Joe, from the old airport to a new location just about a mile down the road. So was there confusion over where this plane was headed, where this plane was supposed to land? The really good news, though, also according to aviation experts, as this investigation goes on, is that Nepalese authorities have historically been very transparent with their investigations. So they will likely invite international investigators to join. There's already news that the French investigators may be heading to the scene because that plane, 3 years at that airline, 15 years old, was a French-made aircraft, Joe.
All right, Molly Hunter. Molly, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.